So the authorities in Burkina Faso have suspended various foreign media over their reporting of an alleged massacre of hundreds of civilians by the Burkinabe army. Now it's crazy because the suspension affected various programs of the Voice of America and BBC following the broadcast of news stories about a Human Rights Watch report accusing the army of abuses against civilian populations. So among the new media outlets are French newspaper called Le Monde, a British publication also called The Guardian, Deutsche Welle. Deutsche Welle is German. And then there's one more French broadcaster called TV5 Monde. Now most of them, including Le Monde, The Guardian, Ecofin, have all been blocked until further notice. Now while the suspension of the programs of VOA and BBC are banned for about 2 weeks, you can't even access their websites and digital platforms if you are within Burkina Faso. Now all these issues rising is because the Human Rights Watch report accused Burkina Faso military of executing at least 223 civilians in 2 villages in late February. That's interesting. But let me also state that the Burkina Faso government spokesperson Remtauba Jean Emmanuel rejected the allegations and denied that the authorities were unwilling to look into these allegations. Now, the interesting part is that the VOA stands by its reporting and intends to continue covering events in Burkina Faso. Now, if you know the BBC, then you know these guys will not back down. Amongst many publications that caused so much controversies, a funny one that I remember was the article about Ghana's President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo plagiarizing speeches, meaning court copying speeches of 2 former US heads of state, and the entire scandal of TB Joshua's alleged lifestyle in the synagogue church.
I ask you to be citizens.
I ask you to be citizens.
Citizens, not spectators.
Citizens, not spectators.
Citizens, not subjects.
Citizens, not subjects.
Responsible citizens, building communities of service and a nation of character.
Responsible citizens, building your communities and our nation.
Now, if you know all this about the BBC, then you know they won't stop. According to them, they will continue to report on the region of Burkina Faso in the public interest without fear or favor. Talk about guts. Now, of course, many people have called on these suspensions as another blow to press freedom in Burkina Faso. But you know what? Let me also know what you think, because people seem to think that the authorities are using suspensions against those who dare to report freely. Now, you see, Burkina Faso is one of several West African nations in the Sahel region, including Mali and Niger, that has been combating Islamist insurgencies. Now, the military seized power in a coup in 2022, making it obvious of the government's failure to tackle jihadist insurgency that we saw in 2015. To think that the West African country was once applauded as a regional leader, in media freedom, this comes as a surprise to many. It's a bit crazy considering that all this is happening in the exact month of the celebration of World Press Freedom Day, which is May 3rd. Now, looking at the reports from both sides, which is the Human Rights Watch and the Burkinabe government, the Human Rights Watch, the HRW, described the massacre as among the worst army abuse in Burkina Faso since 2015, and they claimed that it was a widespread military campaign against civilians accused of collaborating with Islamist armed groups. Now, these news agencies are also saying that by blocking news coverage means that the people there are being deprived of the important rights to information. But statement from the Burkinabe authorities are that the accusations are intentional to discredit the fighting forces of Burkina Faso and its leader Ibrahim Traoré. So until further notice, it seems the websites of BBC, VOA, Deutsche Welle, French newspapers Le Monde, France, British newspaper The Guardian, and African agencies APA and Ecofin have all been banned until further notice. But let me know what you think about this decision of the Burkinabe authorities, if you support or condemn this action.